My name is Lisa. I'm sitting on the porch of my ranch, the snow gently falling around me. The sheriff's cruiser has just driven away, taking my father away in handcuffs. It's a moment of relief, but also a culmination of years of pain and betrayal. It all started on Christmas Eve. I was in my kitchen, pouring my first cup of coffee when my phone lit up with a notification. It was from my father, Henry. Just 3 lines that shattered my heart. Lisa, we decided to keep dinner small this year. Just me, Tom, and a few close friends. We'll catch up with you later. I stared at the screen, the word small hitting me like a punch. It was his code for his new girlfriend, a 25-year-old named Lily, who was 4 years younger than me. He didn't want my presence ruining their cozy evening. My brother Tom, the spoiled one who had never held a real job, would be there, and I was clearly not welcome. For 32 years, I'd been the one they could always count on. The one who fixed their problems, bailed them out of trouble. But that day, I realized I was the excess. I set my coffee down and opened my laptop. With steady hands, I logged into my bank account and transferred the entire balance of $680,000 to the county bank holding the foreclosure on Silver Creek Ranch. Tom had tried to buy this ranch 3 months ago. He'd bragged about it non-stop, claiming it was his destiny. But the financing fell through because banks aren't keen on lending large sums to unemployed gamblers. 20 minutes later, I was in my truck, driving past my childhood home. I saw my father's car in the driveway and the Christmas tree lights I'd bought last year. I didn't slow down. I kept going, watching the house shrink in my rear view mirror until it was just in the snow. Silver Creek Ranch was no ordinary place. It was a massive structure of wood and stone, sitting on 700 acres of Montana wilderness. When I pulled up, the snow was knee-deep. The house looked dark, cold, and imposing, exactly what I needed. Stepping out of the truck, the wind cut through my coat. Holding the deed with only my name on it, I finally felt like an individual, not just an extension of my father's ego. Inside the living room, there was a piece of plywood with Tom's Lodge Coming Soon painted on it. He'd put it there when he thought he had a loan that never materialized. I broke it over my knee and threw the pieces into the fireplace. Watching it burn, I felt a sense of release. My phone buzzed, probably my father realizing I wasn't coming to fix things, or my brother asking for gifts. I didn't look. I blocked their numbers. It was a cleansing act. I then installed high-def cameras and heavy-duty deadbolts on my own. The click of the lock was the sweetest sound, a boundary they couldn't cross. The next morning, as the winter sun streamed through the kitchen, I started to think about what I'd done. I'd liquidated my retirement, emergency fund, and the escape fund I'd been building since I was 18. But I'm a forensic accountant. I know numbers, and I knew this was a necessary move. I opened my laptop and pulled up the family expenses spreadsheet. It told a story of 32 years of being taken advantage of. There was the $60,000 I'd given my father when his business was failing, which he never paid back. The $15,000 for Tom's medical bills that were actually for a bar fight. And the $220,000 I'd paid off his gambling debt 3 years ago, only to have my father buy Tom a new car a month later. Buying this ranch was asset protection. I knew my father was running out of money and Tom was gambling again. I knew they'd come for my grandmother's trust if I didn't act. 3 weeks of silence followed. I knew they wouldn't accept my rejection. And then, on a Tuesday afternoon, I felt the ground vibrate. A heavy diesel engine. I didn't need to look out the window. I checked my security app on the iPad. A black pickup truck was coming up my driveway. My father stepped out first, wearing a suit, the one he used to intimidate people. Then came Tom, looking smug. And a realtor. They were there to list my property. My father tried to open the door with a key to my old apartment. When it didn't work, he got a crowbar from the truck. Watching him through the camera, I saw his calm, entitled face. I finally understood the trap I'd been in for so long. He didn't see me as an individual. He saw me as his property. He broke down the door, and they started ransacking my home. Tom kicked my couch and put garage sales stickers on my furniture. My father was on the phone, listing the property for a quick cash sale. I waited until Tom carelessly tossed a vase my mother had given me. Then I pressed the panic button on my security app. Floodlights came on, blinding them. The sheriff's cruiser roared up the driveway, followed by my best friend and lawyer, Sarah, holding a thick binder. My father tried to spin a story about a wellness check, but the sheriff saw through it. Sarah cited a clause in the trust that stated any trustee who committed a felony against trust property would lose their inheritance. The sheriff listed the charges: burglary, destruction of property, and attempted grand larceny. My father accused me of trapping him, but I told him I'd just let him be himself. He then tried to get me arrested for stealing his truck, but I showed the sheriff a court judgment removing his name from the title. As the cruiser drove away, the trust transferred to me. Now, sitting here on the porch with the snow falling, I block the calls for bail money. I lock the gate. I'm finally free.